Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Rhea Ripley recently claimed that major stars have been taken for granted in WWE. The Eradicator is out of action with a fractured orbital bone and was written off WWE television on the October 29th edition of NXT. In an interview with Jazzy's World, the Eradicator was asked about the obstacles women have had to overcome in the professional wrestling industry. The 28-year-old noted that women used to be taken for granted in the company, and they have come a very long way over the years. Being taken for granted, I think. The women in WWE, we've come a very, very long way. We've overcome a lot of obstacles that were put in the way, and it's been growing each and every year, said Ripley. H/T, Wrestling Headlines, The Judgment Day's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez brutally attacked Rhea Ripley last month on WWE NXT in the parking lot. Rhea Ripley reveals why she betrayed a popular WWE star in the past. WWE Raw star Rhea Ripley shared why she betrayed Liv Morgan in the past. The two stars were once in a tag team together, but have become bitter enemies on the Red brand. Speaking with Sportskeeda Wrestling's Dr. Chris Featherstone in an exclusive interview, Rhea Ripley revealed why she decided to turn her back on Morgan in the past. The former champion stated that she sensed Morgan was going to betray her and wanted to get the upper hand. So I trusted her until I started feeling like something bad was going to happen. I have been backstabbed by multiple partners prior to this, and I mean she has too. So we were both broken in the same ways, and it was only about time that one of us were turning on the other. With us arguing, and us not getting along, and us losing our matches and her draining that killer side of me, and making me into this mushy little tag partner that she wanted, I felt like I was getting sculpted for a betrayal. So I thought I had to do it before she did. Rhea Ripley also suffered a shoulder injury earlier this year and was forced to relinquish the Women's World Championship after holding it for 380 days. Only time will tell when Ripley will be able to return to the ring. Rhea Ripley had never been one to mince words, but her latest comments struck a chord that reverberated throughout the WWE universe. The night was still young when she took to the mic after an intense tag team match on Raw. She looked fierce, her muscles gleaming under the spotlight, and her piercing gaze swept across the sea of fans in attendance. But this time, she had something to say that went beyond the ring. As Rhea adjusted the microphone in her hand, she cast a serious expression toward the camera. The audience, expecting the usual taunts and challenges, leaned in with anticipation. What she said next, however, was not what anyone had expected. "Let's talk about something that doesn't get addressed enough," she began, her Australian accent laced with a simmering frustration. "Every single one of us who steps into this ring, we pour everything into it. Our blood, sweat, tears, our whole lives revolve around this business. And yet, too many of us are taken for granted." Her words hung heavy in the air, and the crowd shifted uncomfortably. Rhea's voice softened slightly but was no less intense as she continued. "Week after week, we give you our best. We fight our hardest, we push our limits, and we do it because we love this. But let me tell you, there are some of us here who are treated like we're replaceable. Like if we left tomorrow, it wouldn't even matter." With that, she set her fierce gaze on the fans. "And maybe it's easy to forget because you get a new face every other week, but let's be real. There are people who've built this company, who've made sacrifices that would break most people. Yet they go unappreciated, unacknowledged. They're seen as fixtures, just there to entertain, like they don't have lives, families, or limits." Rhea's words struck a nerve, stirring murmurs among the fans, who were now listening with rapt attention. Some wrestlers backstage, watching the promo unfold on monitors, nodded in agreement. Rhea had captured what so many felt but hadn't dared to express. She pointed toward the backstage area. "Look at some of the people who paved the way," she continued, "people who put this business on the map. Stars who have gone through career-ending injuries, or those who left the ring with nothing to show but their scars and memories. And they're brushed aside like yesterday's news the moment they're out of the spotlight." Her words struck home, calling attention to the countless legends who had come and gone, their legacy respected but often taken for granted as the WWE machine moved on without them. She wasn't just talking about herself, she was speaking on behalf of wrestlers across the board, past and present. Fans began chanting thank you to show their appreciation, some sensing the real passion that drove her words. Then, with a steely glint in her eye, Rhea turned to address her peers directly. There are legends who have been taken for granted, and now, even some of the current roster, stars who carry this place on their backs, night after night, are overlooked. She paused, clearly thinking of specific individuals, though she didn't name names. At that moment, she stepped closer to the camera, her voice lowering but growing in intensity. You know who you are. You're the ones who don't get the main events, the title shots, the big matches. You're the ones who were told, not now, or next time, while others who don't even show half the dedication are handed opportunities on a silver platter. The WWE Universe knew who she was hinting at. Figures like Drew McIntyre, whose dedication and work ethic had inspired fans for years, or Bayley, who had gone through transformations and still poured her heart into every storyline. Rhea's words echoed the sentiments of many fans who felt the system sometimes overlooked the wrestlers who had invested their lives into the company. Rhea shook her head, the hurt in her voice unmistakable. These are people I respect, people I look up to, and I know I'm not alone. They've been loyal, they've worked harder than anyone can imagine, and they get a fraction of what they deserve. She raised her fist, her fierce gaze focused. But I'm done letting it slide. It's time to put respect back into this ring, back into this business. The crowd erupted into cheers, rallying behind her with chants of Rhea. Rhea! It was as if her words had lit a fire, rekindling respect for those stars who had been sidelined or taken for granted. With her message laid out, Rhea took a breath, her demeanor softening for a brief moment. I don't care if speaking out costs me opportunities. Because if we don't stand up for what's right, if we just accept that some people will never get their due, then what's the point? The crowd's reaction was thunderous, and she continued, encouraged by the support. Every wrestler who's laced up their boots, who's taken the bumps and bruises, they deserve to be treated like the warriors they are. And you know what? Some of them are fighting every day just to stay relevant, just to remind everyone they still belong here. But they shouldn't have to fight for respect. That should be a given. Backstage, the energy had shifted. Wrestlers crowded around the monitors, feeling a sense of camaraderie. Rhea wasn't just speaking for herself, she was giving voice to the frustration and unspoken grievances of many. Rhea concluded her speech with a final, powerful declaration. This business is built on the backs of those who refuse to give up, no matter how much they were overlooked. And from now on, I'm standing up for them. I'm standing up for every wrestler who's ever been taken for granted, and I won't stop until the WWE is a place where every single one of us gets the respect we deserve. As she dropped the microphone, the crowd's chant of respect echoed across the arena. Rhea Ripley had transformed a typical night on Raw into a defining moment, giving the WWE Universe and her fellow superstars a reminder of the heart and dedication that fueled the wrestling world. Her words weren't just a call for respect, they were a call to arms, a demand for recognition, and a rallying cry for those who had given everything to the sport. And as she left the ring, her head held high, fans knew that the WWE landscape had just been changed forever.